What is going on, everybody? Zyonik here, and in today's video we're going to take a look at a Pokemon that you guys have been asking me a lot about, and that is definitely going to be a budget pick for you if you do decide to go with this Pokemon. Now, if you are looking to find Pokemon that are very cheap in Stardust costs and for you to be able to use them in the tournament, this is probably going to be one of the best budget Pokemon to have for the Tempest Cup. So let's go ahead and dive right in. We have Mantine, and Mantine is an under-the-radar Pokemon, I think, in the community right now, but a lot of you have been asking me how this Pokemon will perform and really take a look at it. So I took a heavy look into it, so we're going to go ahead and divide two charts. It's going to be the Bubble Mantine and the Wing Attack Mantine. So to start things off, we're going to take a look at Bubble Mantine. And right away, my first impressions is Mantine's just well-rounded, guys. It's very well-rounded because it can win with shields, and the opponent can lose if they decide not to use shields. So we're going to go ahead and start at the top with Tropius, Skarmory, Altaria. And as you'll see on the right here, I am simulating games for you guys, but just go ahead and you can watch that to the right while I talk about what's happening. So with Tropius, Altaria, and Skarmory, who decides to use two shields or one shield is going to determine who wins the match in this, because Mantine has access to Aerial Ace, which is going to do super effective damage to Tropius, and then he also has access to Ice Beam, which is going to do super effective damage to Altaria and Tropius, and then do some pretty good damage to a Skarmory. So if the Tropius and the Altaria decide not to shield an Ice Beam, Mantine's going to come out on top there, which is quite impressive for the fact that these are kind of the heavy hitters a little bit of the tournament, or maybe the most profound kind of Pokemon that we are going to be seeing, but that doesn't mean all these other Pokemon can't be used. These are just, you know, the ones at the top here. So moving on to the right, we have the electric Pokemon and Lapras. And Mantine, if he doesn't shield, will lose. And in some cases, even if he shields 2 times, he may lose still, depending on where they're at. But that's just an unfavorable matchup because he is double weak to electric. So he is going to get destroyed by that. And then Lapras with an Ice Shard is going to do a lot of work to Mantine. Now, when it comes to the Pokemon on the right here in the middle, as you can see, the chart's kind of divided from the other videos, and that's because of how Mantine handles these Pokemon. So on the right, we got Ninetales, Quagsire, Frostlass, Rhyperior, Steelix, Piloswine, Celio. And when it comes to a Bubble Mantine, that's all going to be shielding as well. It's not going to be as drastic of damage kind of as the top, like Tropius and Altaria was. With these guys, but it's still gonna be who decides to use a shield, and this is why Mantine's just very well rounded and a very good pick, because not only can you have his baby form, which means, guys, 10,000 Stardust cost to unlock a second charge move, so that right there is huge savings. You can get it in baby form, so it's gonna be near enough to boost up for not a lot of cost. And just to put it in perspective, the Mantine that I have, I boosted up for about 20, I think it was about 23,000 Stardust, maybe 23 or 30, but it was very minimal. So it's, you know, very good to have. Now moving down to Lantern, you got no hope. Like a Charge Beam Lantern, which is why I have the Thunderbolt there. Charge Beam Lantern with the charge move of Thunderbolt is gonna destroy you. There's no hope. Don't even try. Even if you double shield, you're still gonna lose heavily. So this is where Lantern might really shine, because if a lot of people are going for Mantine budget Pokemon for their team to help cover a lot of Pokemon, and you have a Lantern, see ya. So that's a bad matchup for Mantine, but that's okay because he does really well against a lot of other Pokemon, like the ground water Pokemon we have here and Charizard. he's gonna be able to do a lot of work to these guys, but in some cases he's gonna have to at least use one shield, obviously, because with the blast burn of how hard it hits, or blizzard, you're gonna have to use one shield if you really want to dominate that matchup. Otherwise, you're gonna be pretty low on health when it comes to the end of that trade, but it still may come out on top, more heavily leaned to your side as the Mantine user. So moving, and that's Bubble Mantine, so we're gonna go ahead and move into Wing Attack Mantine, and things don't really change except for what does super effective damage to you, and you have to shield in order to win. So you kind of guys saw a shift of a lot of Pokemon up to the ones where you have to absolutely shield. So still Wing Attack versus the cluster 3 up there of Tropius, Altaria, Skarmory. Mantine has the potential to win based on shielding. If we move over to the electric, and then now these additional Celio, Rhyperior, Piloswine, Steelix, with Wing Attack, he's going to have to shield if he wants to win. And with 1 or 2 shields, you might come out on top, but more likely it's going to be you're going to have to use 2 shields, and they could still beat you if they use 1 shield. So that's something to take note, that even though you may use 2 shields on your Mantine to help beat these Pokemon, but if they just use 1, you're still going to lose. And moving to the right, we have Quagsire, Frostlass, and Alolan Ninetales. That's just going to be the toss-up trade again of who decides to use a shield or not. Moving down to Lantern, still no hope. Sorry, nothing's changed. Lantern's going to beat you. And then it still changes, or doesn't change, I should say, at the bottom with Swampert, Marshtomp, Whiscash, and Charizard, where you're going to dominate them pretty well, but you may have to burn a shield in order to survive their charge attack, whether that be a Blast Burn or a Blizzard. But it's going to be a safer matchup than Lantern, obviously, or those electric Pokemon. So that's Mantine, guys, and I think the fact that he has a 10,000 Stardust cost if you get his baby form of Mantike, and then he's going to be nearish Great League CP, which means you don't have to burn that much Stardust. You're definitely looking at a solid investment for a Pokemon that could do, it's going to be well-rounded for this tournament, but you do have to watch out for that Lantern. So now that we've taken a look at Mantine, what it's good against, what it's bad against, we're going to go ahead and just jump into some normal games here with Mantine on my team to see how it performs. So we're getting right into the first match. I'm going to lead with Mantine, have Altaria as my second, and Rhyperior as my third. And I have Rhyperior in there just in case she has an electric Pokemon to protect Mantine. And sure enough, she does. She has Zapdos. And Zapdos isn't going to hit as hard as Lantern will. So we're going to go ahead and build up some energy, get out of there, swap into Rhyperior. We're not going to shield this because it's not going to do anything to us. Go ahead and get a few attacks off, and she does bail out of there. She brings in Skarmory. Now I want you guys to watch this matchup right here of Rhyperior versus Skarmory. It's pretty favorable to Rhyperior, and I'm liking it, but the thing is you guys have to look out for is steel attacks. Rhyperior being super affected by steel moves. You're gonna have to block them, otherwise you're going down. So Rhyperior is gonna finish off the Skarmory with the Smackdown. This next Pokemon coming in, we're gonna go ahead and get our Surf off, hoping to burn a shield here. So we do burn the shield, so she has no shields left, and we're gonna go ahead and bring in Mantine. We do get a little bit of lag, but that's okay. Get the Mantine, go ahead and go for the Ice Beam here. Ice Beam doing a great amount of damage. We're going to go ahead and block this Avalanche coming in. We don't want that to hit us. And just keep getting off attacks here. Try to go for the Aerial Ice. We don't get it. She gets off the Avalanche and Mantine goes down. That's okay. We have Altaria. Go ahead and finish off the Piloswine. She brings in Zapdos. Got a Thunderbolt coming in. That's alright. We're tanky. And GG's. Moving into this next match, I am going to lead with Mantine while having Skarmory and Rhyperior on my team as well. She leads with Ninetales, and Ninetales is going to be kind of even matchup when it comes to Mantine, and it's all going to come down to who uses the shields. So we go ahead and get off this aerial ace. She doesn't block it. We do a decent amount of damage, but not enough to kill her. And we're going to go ahead and block this because I want to take advantage of the fact that I'm ahead right now and I have a lot of stored energy with another aerial ace, probably to burn a shield here. She doesn't burn the shield, so we do take down the Ninetales. So this is good, but we do have Tropius. We're going to go ahead and use an aerial ace here. And after the lag, she does decide to shield that. So we got a shield. We're going to try to get this last second aerial ace, and we don't get it off. So I'm going to go ahead and shield, and then use the aerial ace to burn her last shield. But she decides not to shield, and look at that. Mantine just did a lot of damage to Tropius. So we're going to go ahead and bring in Skarmory, a really safe counter to Tropius. Tropius does go down, and now it's Skarmory on Skarmory. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to get this Sky Attack off to try to burn her last shield. So we do get the shield, and then I'm going to soak her charge attack, and then I'm going to swap into Rhyperior to see how this will kind of play out. So I'm going to store some energy, swap into Rhyperior. We're going to go ahead and get some smackdowns out, doing a lot of damage here. Try to get that surf. We don't get it in time, and ouch. Flash cannon, guys. Gotta watch out for that. But we do have Skarmory still, so we're going to go ahead and get the Sky Attack off and finish off. Now moving into the final game of the night, I am going to lead with Mantine again, and I'm going to have Skarmory and Altaria as my backups. So she leads with an Altaria, and this is more kind of favorable to Altaria because you can just see the raw damage coming out there. But we're going to go ahead and get this Ice Beam off. If she doesn't shield it, it's going to be a lot of damage. We do get the shield though, so we're going to go ahead and block this Sky Attack and try to get another Ice Beam off here. But we do decide to bail out, go into Altaria. We're going to go ahead and shield this Sky Attack and save Mantine for later. So we're going to go ahead and use Altaria, get this Sky Attack off, and just the raw damage from Dragon Breath is just amazing for this tournament, guys. So we do take out Altaria. We have no shields, but she still has one shield. So we're going to try to get this Sky Attack off before she can get her charge move, and we do get it off. She decides to shield it, so that's good. She has no shields now, but this Altaria is going to go down, and that's okay, because I still have a Skarmory and a Mantine. So we're gonna go ahead and go into Skarmory. This is a safe pick. Her Skarmory is already at half health, and we're just gonna go for this Sky Attack to try to get this Skarmory out of the battle. And it's very close, but she is gonna get a Flash Cannon off, which is gonna do a little bit of damage, but not enough to completely take me out. And her last Pokemon is going to be Tropius, and this is good. We have two Pokemon that counter Tropius. So we're going to go ahead and win this match, but I'm going to go for style points. And this time, we're going to absorb this Leaf Blade, and I go for the style points, and we go for the Mantine style points. And that was almost a mistake because Leaf Blade still hits really hard, but we do get the Aerial Ace to finish off the Tropius. And that is the game. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I hope you guys found it informative. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think about Mantine and how you think he will perform in the tournament for you if you are going to use him. Don't forget to smash that like button, and like always guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.